I wanted to do something completely different. Cavalia is not a unique show, but it's a unique concept. So when you do a unique concept or a very original concept, something that you never saw before, you're ready to change everything around. So I wanted to do a touring show, so I knew I was going to use a tent. But how can you do a show in a tent with not being a circus? So this is where the question started. So it's first started with the seating. The seating is not a regular circus type in the round. And then you start with the stage. The stage is not a regular circus round ring. It's a very large stage, auditorium type. So all of these ideas start to grow up and it became Cavalia. Cavalia became a unique concept. From the idea up to today, it's about 10 years ago. Of course, I brought a show about 8-9 years ago. I brought a horse to a show, and in that show there were about 150 performers on stage, and at once the horse was just crossing the stage. And I found out that the people were not looking at the 150 performers, but they were following the horse. So I said, my God, this is a star. This is the real star. So this is where I had my first connection with the horses in the show. Then I went to France. I went to see a lot of dressage. I went to see jumping competition. I went to see Western, country and Western rodeos. I went to see what everything is involving with horses, and I found out that all individual department or all the individual, like from the classic dressage, from the jumping, they were all doing inside the same thing. So I wanted to mix the type of equestrian technique. I wanted to bring them to the 21st century, because they're all doing it, but they're doing it the same way for the last hundreds of years. So I wanted to do it differently. So since I'm not a horse person, it was easy for me to say, okay, let's do a dressage act with no bits. And you look at if you go to anybody in the traditional dressage and you tell, okay, you'll do a dressage number, but with no bits, just with the color, they all think you're crazy. But since I don't know about horses, I push all the frontier. Of course, 5-6 years ago, I met Frédéric Pignon and Magali Delgado, south of France. They brought me to their house. They showed me what they were doing and how they were working with the horses, and also that changed a lot. That gave me that option of going much further in the equestrian world than what all those traditional, which are great. I mean, I like to go see dressage, but they still do all the same thing for 3 days. So if you go to a competition or to a Western rodeo, if you go to a day of raining, it's raining all day. I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing for the cutting. It's 3 hours of cutting doing the same thing. So I wanted to use all those techniques, but to bring them to different skills, including also the acrobatic, which never have been done before. So mixing the acrobatic and the equestrian, plus the multimedia, because I use a lot of modern multimedia, image projection, special effects. This brings something completely new.